Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day, sending positivity and good vibes your guys' way, wherever you guys are located. You guys know why you were here. We are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville, and we're kind of just doing like a little bit of a catch-up overall, because there's just been a lot of things that are taking place. First of all, Melody Cherie has been distancing herself, kind of taking a little bit breaks here and there from social media. Her manager has spoken out and basically was like, listen, you guys do not know the half, but is also appreciative of the support. But apparently there's a lot more behind the scenes shenanigans that is taking place, to where it seems as though people in the cast are just doing anything and everything to make Melody Cherie's life a living hell, that Melody Cherie has not even spoken up or out about, you guys. And it's just unfortunate, right? People seem to think that, you know, if you speak up in defense of Melody Cherie, whether you like her or not, whether you're a millimeter or not, that you're quote unquote biased, or that you are not forming an informed opinion on anything, and we are believing fake news or buying into false narratives. And it's like, no, right? There is a lot of things that Melody Cherie has been through. There's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of isolation that Melody Cherie has been through, that she hasn't even spoken the half of what is taking place. And the few times that she has spoken out, or people have spoken out on her behalf, you know, people again want to try to spin different narratives or play victim or claim that, you know, Melody Cherie is lying or pretending to get sympathy and everything else. And it's like, there's no reason for anybody to say anything, right? Right? There's no reason, there's no allegiance to anything, right? So hopefully, you know, things get nipped in the bud, but it's just disappointing with Carlos King, because it's like, it just seems like there was just this effort that was put together by a number of people to take down Melody Cherie and uplift Martel Holt's side chick, you guys. And once that didn't work, because it was a very stupid plan, like if we just want to keep it a buck, because on what planet are people going to rally behind a mistress and advocate for a mistress to be on a show about black married couples, right? Who's going to do that? Right? So that was, you know, silly in itself, to try to pin the mistress as the restaurant, as the it person, as the, you know, factor that should be on the show, and try to diminish Melody Cherie, who is the person who is responsible for the show even being on OWN in the first place, right? And so I just find it interesting that now all of a sudden Martel is all of a sudden butting heads, who Carlos King loves him to death and loves defending him to death, is now butting heads with him because he apparently wants his so-called mistress, other woman, whatever you want to call her, sneaky link, baby mama, whatever. He now wants her to be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I don't know if I buy this, you guys. I don't know if I buy this. This is all being alleged, of course, but apparently he is not happy, and he wants to quote unquote show his real life, wants to quote unquote show his real truth, and have, you know, basically his side chick on the show. And here's what I think about this, you guys. I don't know necessarily if this is even about an alleged relationship or situationship or whatever it is that he has going on with his baby's mama, as much as it is all the other efforts to try to tear down Melody Cherie, all the other efforts in trying to break Melody Cherie has not worked. And so in Martel's big brain seems to think that the last resort that could ultimately be a final blow to Melody Cherie could ultimately be something to where Melody Cherie would maybe want off the show finally, her own show, make it make sense, that to bring on the mistress herself, right? To bring on the mistress herself and orchestrate conflict. But the problem is there's no reason for her to be on the show at this point, right? The opportunity for her to be on the show would have been at the height of when it was first exposed who she was in the first place, when the rumors were out there that Martel was cheating. That would have been the opportunity to be on the show. But according to the side piece herself, didn't she sign documentation or sign waivers as well, to where basically she's not needed and hasn't needed to be on the show? And doesn't she allegedly have tea on the Scott brothers and their alleged Airbnbs and apartments with Martel that they share with their alleged linebackers that go on these Atlanta trips and whatever other trips the boys go out on to do their dirt, to do their cheating on their wives, allegedly? So why all of a sudden would she then be able to be on the show? You're trying to tell me that Kimmy and Letitia now all of a sudden want this side chick to be on the show? Like, I don't even care if you don't even like Melody Cherie. She's got tea allegedly on your husband's as well. So how is that supposed to, look exactly, right? That you're befriending and taking up for a mistress just because you can no longer stand Melody Cherie, right? That you're willing to even go as far as to befriend her and like her in the comments, like what Stormy is doing and everything else, right? So that is why I'm not seeing a situation as far as why she would be on the show. If anything, I was expecting Sheree Whitfield to be on the show. Like, I thought that was the play here. I thought that was the play, was that Martel wanted somebody who had a high profile, who was known in the reality TV realm, that he could showcase, that he can quote unquote show off and have that be a storyline, whether it was a real or fake relationship, but at the minimum, some sort of a situationship entanglement, right? I thought that was the play. I thought that was the angle for, raising his profile, getting introduced to a new audience at Bravo and Real Housewives of Atlanta, and that he was going to try to parlay that and in exchange also bring Sheree onto Love and Marriage Huntsville as well for scenes and getting her integrated with the group and everything else. I thought that was the play. There is no reason to have, your side chick on the show at this point. Like there's no point. That should have been the case a couple of years ago, right? But that ship has sailed. There's no reason for the cast to have her on the show at this point. And the only reason to have her on now is to try to torment Mel, to try to get at Melody Cherie and try to break her. But she's not married to Martel anymore, so there's no use for the mistress, right? They're not in a good place, right? So what is bringing her on at this point? Like, it's been a few years now since Martel and Melody Cherie have been over, and really outside of the child, there's nothing that this mistress has to show for it. She's not even engaged. She has no ring. She's not even married to Martel. And, basically he's still playing in her face, basically, being seen with any other woman but her. So I don't know if they live together or if he, spends the night there when he's not in Atlanta doing stuff with Sheree or whatever the arrangement is, but that's not a real situation either, right? Because it's very toxic, it's very dysfunctional, it's very off and on. So what is real about that, right? Other than you are a father to a child that you had outside of your marriage. So I don't understand the play here on what Martel's big brain thinks is going to work. Or maybe he's hoping that the mistress can get a check. Maybe she's not making enough money from her little online boutique that she decides to do sales now the same time Melody Cherie does a sale, because she stalks her on her burner accounts. Like, make it make sense as to what is the end game, right? What is the end game? And then finally, I guess MARSAU wants to speak to the fans or wants to gaslight the fans and basically posted a video of the WWE guy, I believe he is, where he basically said in the new year he's going to be more obnoxious and you're going to learn to like him or something. And whatever, right? like it's not personal, right? It's not personal at all. And that's why I laugh at these reality stars and celebrities and everybody else, because this imaginary world where everybody is supposed to, suck up to you and tell you everything that you want to hear and gas you up. Like, I just want to know where people thought that was going to happen. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who are going to criticize you. And there's also going to be people who are unbiased, who are going to call out the BS for what it is. The problem is some people do not want to hear the truth about themselves. And so they get in their feelings, they get sensitive, and they want to bark at people on social media in hopes that that is going to shut people down. And in fact, it does the opposite, because it galvanizes people because they think you're full of it, right? But come on, Marceau. Like, we've seen for several seasons how you've treated Letitia. We've seen you, raise your voice at Melody Cherie when she was about to expose what she knew about you and everything else. And you get so defensive, you get so upset, and then the same breath, you're up here showing up in a suit, all dressed up to meet Melody Cherie in private. Like, make it make sense. But you want to tell us, you want to tell the fans that they need to just accept you for who you are. What? like it's not a popularity contest. I think that's the problem, right? This is the problem. Melody Cherie was, is the star, is the breakout star of this show, and it's clear that her castmates are in their feelings about it, right? And they thought that, Martel cheating on Melody Cherie, her being, hurt and humiliated on a national television, was going to, ultimately end Melody Cherie, that Melody Cherie was going to be broke, she was going to be destitute, she was going to have to depend on Martel. And, and none of that has happened. Instead, she's actually probably more richer now than she was with Martel. Like, you could argue Martel was holding her back because of his insecurities and his jealousy of how much of a go-getter Melody Cherie is. But it's just funny that none of the attempts, calling Melody Cherie bougie, calling her the post queen, and that she's on social media all the time, and it's the same people who said all of these things that are actually doing all of these things now, that are actually trying to follow a similar Melody Cherie blueprint in hopes that if they keep getting their name out there by being on social media all the time, if they get their name out there by being selective with who they're going to do certain interviews with, who there's certain people they're going to do shout outs with and everything else, that is going to raise their profile on the level of Melody Cherie. But it's not working. And the problem is people are utilizing these opportunities to continue to slander Melody Cherie and spread lies and false narratives about Melody Cherie. And so people are not going to fall for it, right? And some people think that we have amnesia and have no idea what took place or don't remember what happened these first couple of seasons where, in fact, you guys were gaslighting and taunting Melody Cherie as well. It didn't come out of nowhere where Melody Cherie, said what she said back. She was responding to the energy that she was being given, right? But now all of a sudden, it's not okay. Now all of a sudden, everybody decided, you know what, if we cannot beat Melody Cherie, if we cannot get her off the show, we're just going to continue to band together and continue to slander her, right? And we'll just try to throw everything at the kitchen sink to see what it is that can finally break her down. And none of that has worked, you guys. None of that has worked. So at this point, why not just be cordial? Why not just be cordial and, be an adult around each other, right? Like all this tit for tat stuff, bringing your brother on the show, trying to get at, Melody's mom. Like, it was just all too much. It was all disgusting. It was all inappropriate, you guys. So there is that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. What do you guys think of, Melody distancing herself from social media for a little bit? What do you think of her manager coming out saying there's a lot more that is taking place that the fans have no idea they have? What do you guys think of, Martel allegedly being upset with Carlos King and wanting his mistress on the show after several years later where it's not relevant? What do you think of Marceau basically posting, these things in his story that you're going to like him, you're going to learn to like him and everything else, you're going to be more obnoxious in 2023 and everything else? What do you guys think of all of this? Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.